Hey everyone, so this weekend I messed around with my press brake. I have it back in its original configuration, but I made some new dies to make like some press formed, these like little stiffener, like bubbled pieces of metal. I don't know what it's called, but anyways. This is like a stiffener bracket that goes on the bottom of a mower deck, and as you can see it tore and it's just, it's seen better days. So I made a new one, and yep, I was able to get that bubble so that this nice light piece of 14 gauge sheet metal is nice and stiff. I mean, you can't twist it or move it or whatnot. Anyways, so I had to make a little die, and as you can see, I have a kind of a graveyard of little test subject pieces. This is whenever I was getting close, and unfortunately, my only piece of 14 gauge was previously a test piece for painting my truck. So here's all this nasty acrylic enamel that I had to wire wheel off. But yeah, it worked out good. So this I just took up to, let me show you. I had this nice big piece of it, and I cut it on the do-all. What I ended up doing is, and I'll show you more specifically, but now sitting down in the graveyard of press brake dies, is this one. It's just a piece of flat bar, and I put a piece of 3/8 pencil rod in there, and then that smashes down. Probably can't hear me with this clanging. But anyways, I pressed that. I put the piece of sheet metal in here. Let me see how that goes. Like this. So the pencil rod smashes down into this gap, and then as it gets closer, the flat surface pushes it flat again. So it goes from that V, then it smashes it flat, and you get that nice little dimple. And the other thing is, I thought, okay, this is going to be a one-time operation, so why reinvent the wheel? This piece, rides on the rails nice. And this is usually, I've been using this configuration for a year. This width die, and that top die. So anyways, I figured, how can I do this as simple as possible? So I popped this one off because it just is held on with these bolts. This piece of 3/4 inch plate is welded to the guide pins. So then this has holes. This bottom die just has holes, and then if I take this off, I can take this off. And then what I end up doing is taking that flat bar, clamping it straight to the table, and then see how this piece has these set screws. What I end up doing is just adding this to the top die. So I just put this in there, shoved it up there, used those set screws that I just tapped some 3/8 threads, and it sits on there, and as the springs return it up and down, it stayed with it. Alrighty, so it's almost a year now coming up that I built this press. I built it in May of 2023, Whenever I made that video, releasing it, showing what I built, I said that I wanted to put flange stiffeners and really beef it up, because whenever I do really tough bends, usually stuff I'm just bending little flat bars and things that, you can push with your hand really. But if I'm bending big long pieces of 1/4 inch and I'm giving it all it's got, all 30 tons in that jack, or even bending this 14 gauge little bracket that I just showed you, that took a lot. I think just because you're flattening it, you're putting that dimple in there and also flattening it at the same time. But this thing, I swear you could see it flex a little bit. I didn't measure it, but I mean, I'm sure it's putting a lot of force on there. So I want to stiffen that up. So that's probably going to come sooner than later, to make sure that this thing is very sturdy. But just answering my own question, would I ever kind of put an electric power pack and a hydraulic cylinder on this? Probably not, because I use it a couple times a month. This setup, I think, is perfect for what I do. So I just want to make it, stronger and pretty it up a little bit. Probably won't ever paint it. I think it looks fine, but other than that, so far so good.